I was struck in the book when you detailed the Taliban's come to power in the 90s and how some of those incremental changes really reflect what we've seen happen in Afghanistan over the past 2 years after the
Mhm.
Taliban returned to power. And I don't know if you were working on the book at this time, but it sounds like you both already knew each other and you were talking to each other about the country's history. I wonder if you, when you were talking to each other, if that's something you reflected on, that you were almost seeing the same types of events, the women being banned from certain parts of public life, music being banned, this sort of kind of um, this tight control of public life, and especially the lives of women in Afghanistan, repeat itself.
Yeah, I think when the US troops withdrew, there was this striking visual representation that emerged on the walls and on the screens. And, the murals that celebrated women achievements over 20 years were either um, painted black or defaced. On TV too. The TV presenters just disappeared overnight, leaving only male faces and voices behind. And over those 2 years now, there have been 50 edicts in place to infringe every rights of women, from going to school to working and to basic things like going to parks. And it's just basically uh, to erase women from the public space, just like in the 90s. And it just continues to get worse and worse every day.
Yeah, I think that was a real frustration for us because, in a deep frustration because the book was initially supposed to only go to maybe 2019, 2020 and ending in this kind of political in between space. But then, of course, as we were writing, we saw all the events of 2021 unfolding. And there are just so many echoes of past eras in Afghan history that we now see today. I remember there's one story that's towards the beginning of the book, which is takes place when the civil war was happening in Afghanistan, and Sola's mother again had to wear a burqa for the first time. It was the first time that her young son had seen her wearing a burqa, and he actually thought she had gone blind, because she was just in this extraordinarily restrictive covering. And so he was leading her, this little boy, down the streets, showing her the steps as if she really couldn't see. And the family was laughing at him, like, this child doesn't understand that there are these crisscross slats. She actually can see a little bit. But of course, upon reflection, his innocent assessment really was right, that she had lost everything. And in many ways, she had gone blind. And that's something that occurred decades before what we're now seeing happen in the country.